Hello everyone, welcome to A Foreigner Farming in the Philippines. So, excuse me, Jay and Britzel, the famous Jay and Britzel, are here, and I've got to do a little bit of paperwork for them for their internship here. This is a rating. A what?
That's their grades.
That's their grades. So, how have you guys been?
Too busy in our school.
Are you back in school now?
Yes, yes sir.
When did you start back?
Last August 3, I think.
August 3 on my birthday? That's why you didn't come to my birthday party, huh? Well, that's okay. Are you guys learning a lot?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to fill this paperwork out here, and then I thought I'd show these young men what's new on the farm here and pick their brains a little bit more. Hopefully they've learned a lot in their new year of study. So this is your third year?
Second year.
Second year? And you got 2 more years after this one?
Yes.
You're going to be very smart. All right, so I'm going to get on this paperwork, and then I'll give the boys a little tour if they have time. All right, so I'm down here with Jay and Britzel. I wanted them to see their handiwork, and so they have a little more example of how things are working in here. Now we do need, it's still always the problem, guys, of this is just really too low. The rows are working though. The rows you made, look how green this is. And the girls fertilized this one time. I really didn't want them to, but they did fertilize it one time. The nitrogen level, because this was a fish pond, is like really high. We had a blight problem still, and the remedies that we used, the technique that we used, was not effective on the cucumbers. And you can see all these cucumbers here are now just about dead. And it affects the oppo as well. Cucumbers, I have just... Look, I really don't want to use copper sulfate. I could use copper sulfate and it would probably handle that blight problem. It's just better not to fight the Philippines weather. And just not grow cucumber in the rainy season. That's the big problem, because it's always wet. When it rains every day, the cucumbers just don't like it, and the tomatoes also. But we've only had, I think, 1 day of rain in 2 weeks, so everything now is looking a lot better. The peppers that we planted here, the girls did fertilize without my knowledge, and because this ground was already high nitrogen from the fish waste, the nitrogen in the fertilizer burned up the pepper plants. I had 3 rows of pepper plants here, and they just burned them up. But as you can see, everything else here, that okra, that corn, is doing very well. So this was your guys' main little handiwork here, and I just wanted to show it to you. I think what we're going to do moving forward is, these rows are okay, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to do more of this style,
Higher?
wider, and it's hard to make them higher in this field, because you know it's always so wet. It's hard to build it up because it just naturally wants to go down. But we got this one done and planted. We got those 2 fields there done and planted. A lot of corn. It's made such a big difference. Just for your guys, just for your notes, it's made such a big difference having these plants up. You can see the blight, just a little bit of a problem with the blight starting here, but the health of the tomatoes is much better, and the health of the pepper plants is much better because they're raised up. The blight in the tomatoes, it's the Philippines. It's just high humidity. And I really don't want to, again, copper sulfate would work on these, but I just don't want to use it. The onions are doing much better up high, and I even got some carrots to grow. The carrots are in this row here. And I had a big problem with carrots before. They're just starting here. So the wastewater, the fish water, is helping quite a bit. I don't think I'll have to buy more fertilizer. You can see my shovel down there. It's waiting for me. That's my afternoon project. But we're almost finished. Nerio and Tatai and I did this field. And Tatai's not feeling well, so I'm going to do the rest of those fields myself. But this is working out really well. You guys have any opinions?
I think it's okay, sir.
You think it's okay? Yes. Any further suggestions?
Yes.
If this was your farm, what would you do different?
We will have the vermi, sir. A lot of vermi.
A lot of what?
Vermi. Fertilizer, sir.
Ah. Well, I'm hoping to get away from having to use a lot of supplemental fertilizer because of the fish waste, the wastewater from the fish. To me, things are looking pretty good. Except, you know, I will say this, guys, if you want to come over here. Corn is a high nitrogen feeder. It really, really likes nitrogen. And I will have to, because we've only irrigated one time, I can see that this corn is nitrogen deprived. So we will have to fertilize this. And this corn out here, we've got 5 or 6 rows of corn here. When it gets bigger, when it gets up to, you know, this high, foot tall, we'll fertilize it. Because I don't think the fish water contains enough nitrogen for corn. Corn really, really, really likes it. So I'm pleased. I'm happy looking forward. We've got beans planted here. Almost more than half of this is eggplant. We've got a dozen rows of eggplant down there. I'm pleased with how things are going. So I just wanted to let you guys see how things are going here and what your handiwork was. This was the field that you guys did, and that one over there, you did a good job. The onions, this is the best of the fields. We tried to duplicate what you guys did here in the rest of these with marginal success. So I would like to thank you guys again for your help, and I hope that you guys learned a few things. I know I did. It was a good experience all the way around, and I just want to thank you guys. And for those of you who are not familiar with Jay and Britzel, they did an internship here this last summer, and were a big help to us on the farm. You know, going back to the fertilizer, what would you guys recommend? What strength?
Urea?
Urea?
Yeah.
I've got a basic 14, 14, 14 that I use on just about everything.
That's good.
I'm scared of using just urea because the fish water is such high nitrogen. Again, we burned these pepper plants, we burned them up from too much fertilizer. And the girls just use a small amount. But because this field had high nitrogen already from the fish waste, it was just overwhelming them. It was too much. The little plants were only this tall, and they were fertilized, and they just They died. But I will keep the urea in mind. Fertilizer is so expensive now. It's over 2,500 per sack. SSI. So anything that I can do to keep away from it, I'm going to try. Well, all right, guys. Thank you, everyone. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.